Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the Danish Deception part 17. I just hope there won't be any more trip in this part because the number of trips these people have had, if we're to start calculating the money they spent on trip, is more than enough to pay Mr. Crypto his money. Well, for those of you that have not seen part 1 to part 16, just do yourself a favor, don't watch this one, go and start from part 1. It is necessary you start from part 1. There's a playlist. I'll try and put it in the comment section or in the description, so just go look for the playlist. Start from part 1. So those of you that are up to date,
part 17. Okay, so
let's start from the beginning. Let's get it running.
The Danish Deception part 17. Okay, so I get a notification from immigration, log into my account, and long and behold, the petition was approved. And I remember I was relieved for a few reasons. The first one is that, obviously we get to start building a life here together in Dallas, but also if there was any skeletons from his past, I feel like it would not have been approved. So I almost felt like relief whenever I saw that. And so I called him, and obviously he was excited. We called our lawyer, asking her, what are the next steps? And she said, well, you can stay in the States next time you come, and we can file for a work visa and a travel visa, but you're not gonna be able to go back to Denmark. And at this point he was like, since my dad's passed, like I can work remote. Work's been a little bit slow, so I can work remote. Obviously I might have to pull some all-nighters, which isn't ideal, but it's worth it to be with you. And so I said, okay, that's fine. After a couple of weeks, he comes back to Dallas, and he comes with his mom this time. This is her first time in the United States. And I remember just being so excited, and I wanted her to have the best time because, she's just lost her husband of 50 years. And I go to DFW to pick them up. I had a big sign saying, welcome to Dallas. And I also got his mom some flowers, and it was just such a special moment. She had like this American flag draped around her, and she's just like so proud to be in the States. So we come back home, I cooked dinner, and we just spent the week exploring Dallas. And then we had gone to Key West for about 5 days. We did Miami and Key West with his mom. And
Another trip. Maybe traveling from US to wherever it's not expensive. That's what let me just believe that. Because if I were to be this person that owing money and I'm seeing them flying all over, fear will never allow me if I'm owing. I can't even owe someone that amount of money. But fear will never allow me if I'm owing to be living a lavish life. Because every money I'm getting, I want to make sure I pay you off so that I will rest. My head will be in a good place.
And I will say a lot of that trip was paid for by his mom. She wanted to cover a lot of it, which was just so sweet. And then I remember I paid for the flights, and then he paid for a bunch of stuff while we got there, but she paid for most of the hotel. So we all kind of paid for a little bit. But I know y'all haven't forgotten this man still owes me money. And so I remember we were in Key West, and I said,
it's funny how I've even forgotten the man is owing her. By this time around, sister, it's obvious he's not going to pay you. Somebody that's he has the mind to borrow money from your friend, $200,000. Is your chickeny change that you think he'll give you back?
Hey, are you going to start sending me some funds? And it was awkward because I wanted to bring it up for a while, but then, we went to Panama, he paid for everything, then his dad passed away, and I didn't, it's just, now it's getting kind of awkward for me to bring it up. And so he's like, yeah, I'm going to send you some money.
Sorry I'm pausing a lot, but what I'm getting off from this story now is that these people are not friends. They're not communicating with each other, because I know how women don't play with their money, but the fact that she feels awkward to ask the husband, oh baby, what about that money? Don't say anything about my money. She feels awkward to ask that. That alone is telling me the kind of relationship that they had.
We go through the trip in Key West, have a good time, come back to the States. He still hasn't sent me money. He's giving me the turnaround, and I'm getting a little antsy, and I'm getting very triggered. And so we're in the living room, and he says he wants to just go on the balcony and get some fresh air. And I start creeping. I walk up to the window, and I'm trying to look over his shoulder at his phone, and he doesn't know I'm looking. And on his phone, I see there's a gambling website, and my stomach is in knots, and his mom is currently in the living room with me. So there's nothing that I can really say, because again, I'm still wanting to protect him. And again, I will repeat this one more time. I wanted to tell everyone about his addiction and our issues. I wanted to tell the world, but he very much said everyone's going to view me differently. With the excuse with his mom, he was like, she's an old woman, you're going to stress her out, and she's not going to be able to do anything about it, and now she's just stressed. So he was able to manipulate me into not bringing it up to anyone. And so his mom is here, and I don't say a word. Instead, I send him a text, and I just say, and it's weird because he's in the same, like, he's 5 feet from me, and I send him a text saying, I see a gambling website on your phone. I'm going to need to see your bank statements as soon as possible. And he tells me,
you want to see bank statements? Somebody have manipulating you. That she's so easy to manipulate by the man. I'm just sorry to say.
I'm only on this website because that's where I can watch sports for free. And I was just like, huh? This makes no sense. Obviously, I'm detecting all the bullshit. So I say, I want to see your bank statements right now. He pulls them up, and like at this point, he has his Revolut statements, which I don't know if you guys remember, the very first time I sent him money, I downloaded an app called Revolut, kind of like Venmo. He uses that for a lot of things in the States because you basically get the local currency rate if you use Revolut, and he had like a physical card that was tied to his Revolut. So I wanted to see that. So he printed out, or didn't print out, he showed me like the statements directly from his phone for Revolut, and then he showed me his Danish bank account and the transactions, and I went through everything with a fine-tooth comb over the course of like months and did not see anything alarming at all. So obviously I saw this gambling website on his phone, but I checked his bank accounts, I didn't see anything. So I let it go, but I was very clear.
I don't want to.
I better not ever see this on your phone ever, ever, ever again. So his mom leaves after having a great trip, and at this point I'm still like waiting for these transfers, and I'm like, what's going on? And he keeps telling me that he has things to pay for. Like he said he was helping his mom out with something, and then he said that he had another insurance.
He's helping his mom out. Is supposedly royal family. See, this girl, she was a perfect pride for the guy. She just was just so easy for this guy. I'm sure the guy must have been so happy he met somebody like her, so easy to manipulate. That's why he even agreed to the marriage, because in fact, she was the one even pushing for things to move so fast. I'm sure the guy must have been saying God just delivered in an easy prey for him on a platter of gold.
Insurance payment, and there was a few things that he said he had, and then finally I'm like, okay, I'm done with the bullshit, like you need to start transferring me some money. And so basically he tells me that he's transferred a certain amount. He has a transfer limit that he can transfer to his Revolut, which is how he can send me money, and he's like hit his monthly transfer limit. I don't really know what the fuck that means, but he said he hit it. And so I'm still very frustrated, but he basically says that he can't send me any more money until August time.
She's always saying she doesn't know what that means. Madam, I don't understand. Why do you have, and you are working, so you're supposed to, oh my God. So you cannot even Google anything. You cannot even ask ChatGPT anything. Okay, let's say you don't know how to use ChatGPT. Google now. You cannot even, when I said she didn't even lift a finger to save herself, as if she genuinely wanted to be manipulated just so she could stay in that relationship because she loved the guy.
Frame. And during that time, his best friend came to visit, and the same best friend that was with him whenever I met him in Croatia. And what my ex didn't know was that I was in communication with his best friend, talking to him about the gambling, the issues. I didn't tell my ex that I was talking to him, but I just wanted to speak to someone from his past. Obviously, keep in mind that I don't have a lot of people to talk to, so it just made me feel a lot less alone. But basically, I'm putting more pressure on my ex, being like, hey, like you need to start sending me money. And keep in mind, I'm also paying for like most of the household bills, and now like he's here full time. Like, you got to pitch in, bro. And I'm not here to be your sugar mama, even though I have low-key been your sugar mama unintentionally. So I'm getting frustrated, and we get a notification that his work visa has been approved. And so I'm excited about this because this means that he can get a social, he can get a bank account. And something to keep in mind is when you're married to a gambling addict, you want to make sure you take full financial control. And that was hard for me to do because with his Danish bank account, he had like a 2-factor authentication that scanned his face. So I couldn't just like log in whenever. But with Chase, I was like, all I need is a password. So we go to Chase, he opens up a bank account and he says, I'm just going to make a transfer from my Danish bank directly to my Chase bank. And then I'll be able to start sending you money via Zelle. And I'm like, okay, perfect. That works. Because he had like this limit on Revolut, or I couldn't remember the details, but I remember it didn't make sense. And every time I pressured him like for it to make more sense, he would gaslight me. And so we wouldn't get anywhere. And so I was getting very frustrated, but I'm like, okay, now you have Chase. So he tells me that he makes a big transfer to Chase, and that he is waiting for that to hit. And a couple days go by, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh yeah, okay, the transfer hit. And he shows me an email from Chase and it said like, we need to verify your identity. And he's like, oh, Chase is asking for this verification. And because I haven't done this verification, my account's locked. I'm like, okay, stop bullshitting. I know Chase. I go to Chase. I've been banking at Chase for a long time. And I felt like he was bullshitting. And so he said, you know what, let's go to the bank and talk about it. Because I mean, I know I have money in there because I made this transfer like a while ago. And I said, okay, let's go to Chase. And this is when I start like thinking to myself, you know what, I'm gonna play a game. We're gonna go to Chase and I'm gonna try to get out of the car and go into the bank with him. If he says, no, you should just wait in the car, I'm gonna know he's hiding something. And I really just wanted to see how he would react. So we go to Chase, he gets out of the car and I start to get out of the car. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna be in and out, babe. You can just wait in the car. And I'm like, red flag. And you know what? I let him do his thing.
It's funny how she says red flags, as if she's going to do anything with the information. This woman, she's beginning to
let him go inside. I'm like, okay, let's see what he comes back with. So he comes back and he says, hey, I'm able to take out, like, it was like $1,000 he's able to send to me. And he's like, here's like $1,000. I go, at this point, he told me he was going to send me like 5,000. And so I'm like, what's going on? Are you lying? He was like, no, I'm not lying. I was like, well, I'm tired of carrying this relationship on my back and I'm over it. And that was like, this is when I start really standing up for myself and telling him that I'm just done with the bullshit. And he gets so angry with me. I remember he had his gym bag in the car because the plan was for us to go to the bank, me drop him off at the bank, or me drop him off at the gym. And then I was going to go to a showing. I drop him off at the gym and he slams the car door. He goes, don't worry about picking me up. I'll walk home. And I get home and I'm like, can we please talk about this? Because I want to squash this. He goes, the way you talked to me was so disrespectful and I'm not okay with it. There's money in that account. And I said, listen, I'm getting triggered. Like, I feel like you're lying about a lot of things and it's making me feel like you're gambling. So I just need you to tell me the truth. He's like, I am telling you the truth. And like, you disrespected me, making me feel like less of a man, that like you've, supported us more than I have. And I was like, I'm not trying to make you feel like less of a man. I'm just telling you that I'm fucking tired of carrying this shit on my back. And he storms off, goes upstairs, goes in the guest bedroom, closes the door, and he refuses to talk to me and like locks the door. And I'm like, what is going on? I remember just being so angry because I'm like, you're the one with the addiction. You're the one that's hurt me. And somehow you're finding a way to put it all on me. And that's not okay. So I remember being really upset. And so basically I had a work event that night and I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to go. And then finally I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go. I need to get out of the house. So I go. And at this point, it's really hard for me to hide my emotions. And a lot of the people at my last real estate firm probably remember this event. I showed up and I just was like bawling my eyes out. And like a lot of people didn't know what was going on, but I was just really, really sad and struggling a lot because I just felt like I was being gaslit. And I remember there was one of my coworkers and we were sitting in a corner at this event and I actually ended up telling her about my ex's addiction because I just in that moment needed to talk to someone about it. And she was so sweet, so welcoming. Shout out to you, you know who you are. And so basically I go back home and he's upstairs in the bedroom not wanting to talk to me. So I'm like, can we please talk? He's like, I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, okay. So basically I'm on the couch and it kind of worked out because we have some really good friends that they have cars that they use for Toro that they own. And we had picked up one of their cars because they were out of town earlier that day. And their car was outside and the keys were right on the counter. And so I was like, you know what? I know the PIN code to his Danish card. I bet it's the same PIN code for his Chase card. And so what I did was I grabbed the key to the car, my friend's car, and I like kind of sneakily snuck out of the house because I didn't want him to hear the garage and be like, where's she going? So I snuck out of the house. I went to Chase and I put his card in, I put in the PIN code and it was accepted. And I clicked the lovely button that said check balance. And what was in his account? 34 cents. And we will continue on in part 18.
I don't know. I'm getting angry with this story now. Oh, my other mic went off, so I had to change it. But this story, I'm beginning to get angry with it. Like she has gotten so many information, so many red flags, but she didn't do anything about it. I think she's even scared to share her heart with the man, like pour her to the man, because it's obvious they don't have any tangible conversation apart from, oh, we are traveling, we are going to this. That's the only conversation this will be having in this relationship. Oh, I love you, have sex. That's all. They don't even know each other. Like it's very obvious. Oh, guys, see you in part 18. Let me show you guys this handcrafted tie and dye shirts. It's so lovely. It's one of my favorite thing. Let me show you another. So this comes in blue and white.